Joining us now is the Conservative Party co-chair, Amanda Milling. Hello to you. Thanks for joining us
this
morning. You were favourites to win. Why didn't you?
So it's a really disappointing result. But first of all, I want to pay tribute to Ryan Stevenson, who's been an absolutely fantastic candidate. He's worked his heart out day in, day out, and also to congratulate Kim. But this was always going to be a really tough battle for us. We didn't win this in 2019. Governing parties don't tend to win by-elections. And we have to be clear on this. This is a Labour hold, not a Labour gain, not a win.
You were favourites to win. I mean, the polls were suggesting that you would get 47% of the vote. You got 34%. Why do you think that is?
I suppose the one thing I would always say about elections is only one poll that matters, and that's the one on the day. You know, we fought a really hard campaign, but what I would say is it was a very, very close result. You know, as I say, governing parties don't win by-elections. They certainly don't gain by-elections.
Well, you certainly lost 2 on the bounce, haven't you?
So each of these by-elections is a unique challenge. It was really disappointing to lose Cheshire and Amersham. But, you know, we fought a really hard fight. But let's be really clear about this. This is not a great win for the Labour Party. You know, we really kind of took the fight to them. They only won by a matter of just over 300 votes.
As I said, the polls were suggesting that you were going to win easily. It's the Hancock effect, isn't it?
So there's a whole load of issues that affected, you know, our campaign. It's lots of issues that come up on the doorstep. You know, we fought a really hard campaign. I'm really disappointed, and particularly disappointed for Ryan. But, you know, at the end of the day, you know, this wasn't a great result for Labour.
You have to concede that the behaviour of your former Health Secretary must have had some impact on people in Batley and Spen who are honest, hard-working people and don't like the way he behaved.
So, you know, it was something that came up on the doorstep. I have to be honest about that. But then lots of different
What
things.
Did they say?
They had some issues over the weekend in terms of, you know, what happened. But Matt resigned, and that was the right thing to do. But there's a whole host of different issues that came up. But we also need to remember that governing parties don't gain by-elections. And actually, taking it to such a small number of votes in itself was a tremendous result. Quite extraordinary, I would say.
So the people in Batley and Spen at the weekend were saying, we don't like the way that that he behaved, and I'm guessing they also weren't particularly pleased with the way that the Prime Minister said the case is closed in a very superior manner. So,
you know, Matt did the right thing at the weekend, which was to resign. And within 24 hours of the story breaking, we had a new Health Secretary, and Sajid Javid is doing a tremendous job. He's literally kind of working hard from day one, because at the end of the day, we're still in the middle of this pandemic. We've got a job to do to ensure that we roll out these vaccines so that we can then open up the country and get back to life as normal.
Any answer to my question? What were people saying about the Prime Minister at the weekend?
So, you know, there's a lot of love for the Prime Minister. You know, he gets a lot of support on the doorstep. And, you know, as I say, you know, Matt did the right thing to resign, and within 24 hours we had a new Health Secretary.
Yeah, a lot of love on the doorstep didn't translate to a win, though, did it? Let's talk about Matt Hancock. What's happened as far as the investigation is concerned into his behaviour?
So the matter for investigation is something that I'm not here to discuss this morning.
Why not?
The thing is, we had a by-election. We've just had a result in.
Yeah, we've dealt with that. We've dealt with that. Why is there no investigation into Matt Hancock? You're the co-party chair.
So I don't talk about investigations,
Why
if you
not?
Understand, because individual cases are such.
Has one begun?
And I'm not, like I say, I'm not going to get drawn into any
Has an investigation begun into what happened?
So, as I say, I'm not going to get drawn into any kind of discussions in terms of investigations.
Why not?
So all I would say,
but I don't understand why not. We should know what's happening as far as the former Health Secretary is concerned. He was snogging his aide in his office when he was supposed to be dealing with the pandemic, tried to hang on. Prime Minister said the matter was closed. The British public said, hang on a minute. As a result, he stepped down. We should know what's happening as far as the investigation is concerned. So surely it has to be transparent. Surely it does.
So in terms of, all I would say is this morning I'm here on the back of a by-election result. You know, we have literally taken Labour to a few hundred votes.
And you acknowledge as part of that by-election, it was the behaviour of the former Health Secretary that cost you that result.
There's lots of different issues.
So I'm asking you as a follow-up question, what happened in relation to the investigation?
So there was a lot of different issues that came up on the doorstep. And, you know, actually, let's look at this result. It was incredibly good. You know, we were really so close. And governing parties shouldn't be within a whisker of gaining by-elections.
Yeah, you were close, but as you said, there's only one result that matters, and you lost. As far as him employing his mistress at taxpayers' expense, what's happening as far as that's concerned?
So there are, you know, some of these matters are matters for the government. And, you know...
No, they're matters for the public. They want to know about the former Health Secretary paying his mistress £15,000 of taxpayers' money. What are you doing about it?
So there are processes that we go through in terms of appointments, and that all the processes were gone through in accordance to those. And so, you know, so I think that kind of answers your question.
Well, it doesn't. I have a follow-up, if I may. Did you know that he was paying his mistress £15,000?
So, like I say, there was a story that broke last week. I didn't know any of the details of that. But there are due process in terms of these appointments, and those processes were gone through.
And does that due process allow for a minister to pay £15,000 to his mistress?
So this is a story which, you know, Matt has rightly resigned. He recognised that he did wrong, and that you know, we now need to move on. We're in the middle of a pandemic. Sajid Javid has taken on as a health secretary. He's doing a tremendous job, because what we need to do right now, when they're still in the middle of this pandemic, we need to get these vaccines rolled out in order to be able to get the country back to normal.
Yeah, however, we don't move on until we find out why he was paying his mistress £15,000 to snog in his office.
But that was an appointment that was made through due process.
Well, how can it be through due process when he was paying his mistress? Whatever process you look at, by whatever measure, that is not acceptable to the British public to the extent where you've lost a by-election.
So I know the public will be incredibly frustrated, because at the end of the day, we have all made a huge number of sacrifices. You know, we want to get back to normal, but Matt did the right thing by resigning.
So is the matter closed now? Is that what you're saying?
He's now resigned, so I would see that as kind of the matter is closed. But
so there is no investigation?
As I say, you know, Matt has done the right thing in terms of resigning, and, you know, I understand the public are kind of frustrated, have been deeply frustrated by kind of all of the issues that we faced over the last 12 months, the sacrifices they've made. But, you know, I want us to all pull together as we kind of get those vaccines rolled out so that we can get the country back up and running.
Will there be an investigation or not?
As I say, you know, I think the matter is closed now. Matt has resigned.
So there won't be an investigation into our health secretary during the middle of a global pandemic where we've lost 120,000 people just in the United Kingdom. He's spent some of his time paying his mistress £15,000 a year, taking her on G7 trips up to Birmingham and snogging her in his office. The matter is closed as far as that's concerned. No investigation.
He
broke the law.
So, you know, Matt resigned at the weekend. He is no longer the health secretary. And, you know, now our focus has got to be on getting those vaccines rolled out and getting the country back to normal.
He broke the law.
I think that, you know, people have made mistakes in the UK in terms of the rules during the course of the last 12 months, as you know yourself. And so, you know, I think Matt has resigned.
He broke the law.
Matt has resigned, and, you know...
So there should be no comeback as far as the Health Secretary is concerned, and he should be welcomed back to government within the course of a year, which is apparently what he's planning to do.
Well, the matter for kind of who is appointed to ministerial positions is a matter for the Prime Minister. You know, right now, Matt did the right thing by resigning.
And the fact that he broke the law, that's the matter closed.
As I say, people have broken the rules, Kay, as you well know. And so, but Matt has resigned.
As you know, you've made the point twice. As you know, I was sanctioned. I was off air for 6 months. I don't make policy. You do. And he certainly did at the time.
He's realised he did.
Does he have to face any comeback as a result of breaking the law during a global pandemic and snogging with his assistant?
He did
not
the
his
wrong
assistant,
thing.
His aide.
He did the wrong thing. He recognises that, and he resigned, and that was the right thing for him to do.
OK. Is there going to be an investigation?
As I say, you know, Matt has resigned.
Is there going to be an investigation? Matt
has resigned, and, you know, we've now got a new health secretary, and, you know, we have got to focus now on whether, you know, getting this country back up and running, getting these vaccines rolled out.
OK, so when he was supposed to be making policy and when he was rolling out these inoculations and when 120,000 people died and when he was telling people that they couldn't hug their grandmother before they died, all of that while he was also having a relationship with his aide in his office and also paying that aide £15,000 of taxpayers' money, that doesn't warrant an investigation.
So, look, I can understand why the public would be deeply frustrated. We have all made so many sacrifices, people up and down the country who haven't been able to be with their loved ones. But Matt has resigned. He recognised he did wrong. And, you know, the public, understandably, are frustrated.
Yeah, they are. That's why you've lost a by-election.
The reason we
and you're sitting here this morning and saying it doesn't matter.
So, we didn't lose a by-election.
You said it was brought up on the doorsteps.
What happened is that Labour held the seat. They held the seat only by a whisker.
You were.
This is not a great success for the Labour Party. And
it's
why
a loss for you.
And why it's not a loss for us because we didn't gain the seat. It wasn't ours to lose. It was the Labour Party's to lose.
OK, it's good to talk to you. I'm sorry, we're going to have to leave it there. I look forward to you coming back very soon indeed. Thank you.